This morning I'm reading from Mark Rollins and the Rainmaker. Someone is trying to kill Neil Fort. He's the Rainmaker for his law firm. He's also an avid cyclist. But he's not supposed to be leaving his home without letting his protectors know. However, it's very early in the morning, and he doesn't think there's a danger out there. So he suits up in his cycling outfit and heads out the door to rendezvous with his cycling team. Now, to the story. Also out at 5:30 was Ramiro Mendez in his old gray pickup. The bed of the truck was loaded with the trade of Hispanics who care for Belmead lawns, leaf blowers, shovels, hoes, rakes, and other garden tools. The truck and the tools gave onlookers a reason for Ramiro to be in the Belmead area. Belmead's finest would pull you over in a heartbeat if you didn't look like you belonged to their ritzy community. This morning, Ramiro's only purpose for being on Chickering Road and slowing to a stop was to locate the Fort's home and case the area because he didn't yet have a plan for earning his $25,000. His truck lights were off, and his eyes had adjusted for the darkness. All of a sudden, Ramiro had to do a double take. He couldn't believe his eyes. A man on a bike was coming out of the Fort's driveway. As fortune would have it, there was his target, and the man was coming to him. This was an opportunity that Ramiro was not about to miss. The man made a left out of the driveway onto Chickering Road and was now pedaling away from the truck. Ramiro let the man get ahead a few hundred yards before starting his truck and pulling away from the curve. That gave Ramiro the room to get the truck up to speed before the cyclist would hear it. Fort was riding in the direction of traffic, if there'd been any this early in the morning. Chickering Road has no shoulders on the park side of the road. On his right, just off the edge of the pavement, was a rainwater ditch about 1.5 feet deep. And beyond the ditch were the dense trees of Percy Warner Park. The ground was soft, thick hatch of undisturbed forest floor. Ramiro accelerated. The truck's right wheel was on the edge of the road. Instinctively, Fort felt the presence of the vehicle behind him. Then he heard it. He tried to move right. There wasn't enough room. Competitive cyclists are used to defensive biking. They only need an inch of tire space. Ramiro's truck didn't leave that inch. Seconds before the truck would have struck, Fort jerked the wheel to the right and into the ditch, hoping he could do a nice barrel roll to break his fall and avoid serious injury. The bank was too steep, and the bike's front wheel dug into the rain-softened ground, freezing the bike's forward motion. The rear of the bike rose, and Fort was thrown over the handlebars and into the trees. The first impact was a glancing blow to his side. Ribs snapped. The impact to his ribs didn't stop his forward motion. His shoulder was next. He landed with his right shoulder slamming against a young oak tree. This time he heard the snap as his collarbone gave way. He was face down among the trees. He heard a muffled voice coming from the communicator in his saddlebag, but he couldn't reach it or see where the bike was. No help there. As he lay there, he had the only logical thought a true competitive cyclist would think of at a moment like this. I wonder if my bike is okay. He doubted it, especially since a piece of the crank arm was still attached to his Rocket 7 shoes. Damn rednecks, assholes. His heart was racing as he gasped for air, but the pain from the broken ribs was so sharp that he couldn't take a deep breath. And the balaclava was now like a gag over his mouth. He tried to use his hands to lift his face and upper body free of the forest floor, but he couldn't. His right arm was useless. Thank you.